Hey guys, welcome to another video. I am going to do a Friday reads today, so I'm just going to have a chat about everything that I've been reading in the last sort of few weeks. For those who don't know, we're currently in lockdown here in Sydney, Australia, so I've had a lot of time to read, but also my schedule's been thrown around and stuff, so I haven't actually got I haven't read in proportion to the amount of time, like extra time that I've had. So I've also been jumping in and out of a lot of stuff just to keep interest and just poking into different things. That's what I feel like doing at the moment, so that's what I have been doing. So I've just got a list of the stuff that I've been reading. So I read Stephen Kotkin's biography, or the first volume of his biography of Stalin. There's a video of that on my channel. I also read Ian Kershaw's Hitler, also made a video about that on my channel. So that was really interesting to read those two and kind of compare their approaches to biography, their writing styles, how they use the evidence, all of those sorts of things. So if you want to get my more detailed thoughts on those videos, you can have a look at my channel for them. After that, I felt like I needed to read something a bit different. Being so deep in history like that is kind of draining, so I tried something different, and I picked up Dune by Frank Herbert. And this is certainly an interesting one. It's supposed to be one of the best sci-fi novels written in the last, well, I suppose one of the best sci-fi novels ever. It was written, I believe, in the 70s. To be honest, it didn't really do that much for me. I found the characters fairly unrelatable and the pacing was really weird. So I just didn't feel very invested in the story, so I got to the end just to find out what happened, but I didn't really care either way, like whatever happened to everyone. So that was a little bit of a letdown. I probably won't read the rest of the books in the series. I'll watch the movie when it comes out, and maybe that will reignite or actually just ignite an interest in the series, but it really didn't do anything for me. So I'm sure, I know a lot of people love it, but just wasn't for me. I've been also listening to a lot of audiobooks recently. I've been getting back into scale modeling, like plastic models, during the lockdown, so I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks while I've been doing that. So one of them, the first one that I jumped into, was Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October. So it's the book that the movie was based on. It's a Jack Ryan book. Basically, there's this, I suppose, a cooler class nuclear submarine, that has this new, very silent drive system, and it goes missing in the ocean. And the Jack Ryan believes that the captain is trying to defect, and they have this whole plan to find and basically take the crew of the sub to America, and the Soviets are also looking for it. So it's fascinating. It's a really cool movie, really cool book. So I enjoyed that one. What else have I been reading? Oh yes, The Anglo-Saxons by Mark Morris. That's another audiobook I've been listening to. That one really is what it says on the tin. It's a history of Anglo-Saxon Britain, kind of laying out the lay of the land, how everything worked, who everyone was, those sorts of things. So it's been really interesting to hear that. I really have a bad understanding of that period of British history, so it's been a good primer for me. I'll read more in depth in the future, but it's been really interesting on that front. And then the last audiobook that I've got listed here is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It's been going around YouTube recommendations as like kind of the foundation book for the dark academia trend. I don't really care too much for dark academia, but the book summary or synopsis sounded really interesting or really cool. It's basically bunch of college students in Vermont studying ancient Greek, and it's a murder mystery. So I've actually been really enjoying it. I find the characters quite interesting and engaging. The story's interesting. It's a murder mystery. I mean, who doesn't love that? So I've been enjoying that. So the last two books I've actually got here physically. So the first one is The Power Broker by Robert A. Caro. I actually started this back in March for March of the Mammoths, and I didn't get very far before I abandoned it, just for various reasons. And I've come back to it because I do want to read this. It's about a guy called Robert Moses and his time within the New York State and New York City government, basically. He served in the government in various capacities from the early 1920s all the way up until the late 1950s, early 1960s. And it's a study of his power, how he came to identify with certain causes and worked himself into certain positions where he had a lot of power. So people like Al Smith and Franklin Roosevelt and LaGuardia had to respect his power and couldn't remove him from power. So it's very, very interesting. It's quite dry. There's a lot of just name dropping and place dropping where you can get quite bogged down in the details, but the story itself is fascinating. So I am currently about like 450 pages in, and I think the book runs to about 1,200 pages, so it's going to take me a while to finish. So I've been chipping away at it. It is very interesting. I've been enjoying it a lot. And then the last book that I want to talk about is this. It's a very short history of the world by Geoffrey Blainey. So Geoffrey Blainey is the chairman or like the head of the history department at, actually it might say it on the back here. The chair in history at the University of Melbourne. I don't know if he still is or if he just was at some point. And he's published a whole lot of books. It says here on the back he's published 36 full-length books, basically studying world history. And then he published a book called A Short History of the World, which is kind of his survey of world history. And then this is the abridgment of that. It was bought for me as a gift, and I'm currently studying a course on historiography, so I just thought this would be an interesting one to pick up and just read to see how he views grand historical trends, basically. It's very similar to the content that it's dealing with so far is very similar to the book Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, in that it focuses on the development of humankind and pulls that sort of thread to explain the development of history. So I'm currently reading some chapters on religion. There's been some chapters on farming, on various different things. So I think it'll be good. It is very short, very easy reading. So when I'm not feeling like digging into The Power Broker, I just read 50 to 100 pages of this, and it doesn't tax me too much to read it. So anyway, that's all I've got time for today. That's what I wanted to talk about. It's everything that I've been reading. I have also been reading for school, diving into chapters of various books, but I'll do a full dedicated video on that when I get a bit more into the semester and I've got a bit more rounded view of what we're reading for the semester. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good week, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye.